A quick reminder about these classes on Skillshare and the option to share your project on the class itself. In just a moment, I'm going to share some examples of paintings in which I've used the pulling the puddle method, and it may not be obvious where I've used it. I hope that you can determine or guess where it's been used, but often techniques are really the best when you don't notice them, when you can't say, oh, they used a lot of salt there, or I know that technique, it's saran wrap. So I like to weave my techniques together and keep people puzzling over, gee, how did she do that? And you can do that so well with pulling the puddle. Applying glazes, washes. Pulling the puddle is one wet and wet technique. You can call it wet and wet because you're either pulling the same wash, or you're charging it with other colors, or you're adding water to it to make it lighter or darker. These are all wet and wet. They are not dry techniques, but pulling the puddle is only one of many wet and wet techniques. So I don't want you to think it's one and the same. It's just one of many, many varieties of techniques you can use wet and wet. And in other classes on Skillshare, I will be sharing many more wet and wet techniques, along with some dry techniques. Experiment. Try all kinds of things. Be limitless. Pull your puddle in every direction and see what happens when it dries in some areas and you re-soak it in others. It may be just the perfect technique if you expand on it and change it a little bit. Please remember, post your projects. I'd love to see what you're doing. And even in the future, come back and post a project if you think, that was it, I pulled the puddle just now. Who would have imagined? Thanks for joining me. I'm Chris Carter.